everyone and welcome. In this video, I'm going to be doing my September wrap-up, just going over all the books I read in September. I only read 5, so it's not going to be a ton of books, but I'm still excited to share what I did read this month. And yeah, let's just go ahead and get started with the first book, which is The Summer That Changed Everything by Brenda Novak. And this is a thriller. And in this one, we are following Lucy, who goes back to her hometown after being away for 15 years because she was chased out of town at 17 years old because her father was convicted of 3 murders in this town. And now, 15 years later, she's kind of wondering about her father's involvement in at least one of the murders. She thinks he may have been falsely convicted. And so she goes back to investigate. And of course, she's met with all kinds of resistance from the townspeople, from the victims' families, from everyone except for one person, who is Ford, who was her boyfriend at the time when the murders happened. And together they investigate the murders and her father's involvement. And I ended up giving this one 3 stars, which isn't bad. It was good, but not like a favorite or anything. It was good. It was pretty predictable. Most of the twists weren't shocking. One of them, the one that I think would have been more shocking and less predictable, was actually given to us within the first 100 pages of the book. So I didn't really get that. And then the twist we were left with felt very predictable, and I've definitely read very similar things in other books. It was also fairly repetitive. Like pretty much every chapter she talks about how, you know, she was chased out and she doesn't trust any of these people and how it messed her up so bad and her life just went to shambles after this, which I'm sure it did. I'm sure it was incredibly difficult, but I don't want to hear about it every single chapter. Like, I haven't forgotten about it since the last chapter. And this is also like, it's like a romantic suspense, I guess. We also have a romance in this, but I don't really have much to say about the romance. I didn't really like it. Ford, I didn't love him. I liked the couple more towards the end of the book, but I still didn't love it. Ford, it was like he knew, I can't say too much, I don't want to spoil, but he had a certain situation going on that he knew what would happen, and he still, I feel like he acted very selfishly, and I didn't like him. Lucy, our main character, is very not like other girls, I guess you could say, because the thing is, it's said explicitly that she's not like other girls multiple times, but it's not her saying it. Like, for instance, at one point Ford says that he dated her because she was not like other girls, because she was wearing, in the summer when he spotted her for the first time, she was wearing a t-shirt and denim shorts and flip-flops. And I guess that's just like crazy. No other girls wear that in the summer. And it's just repeatedly said how he only picked her because she was not like other girls, and it just got old after a while. This is a good choice if you're looking for a more relaxed thriller. There's nothing super exciting or gripping about it. It's not like a massive page turner. But I think it says right in the title it's a beach read, and I think it could be great for that, for like a vacation read or a palate cleanser. So if you're looking for something like that, then I would recommend you give this a go. I didn't dislike it. I just wouldn't necessarily actively tell people to go read it either. Next up, I have the 4th book in the A Court of Thorns and Roses series, which is A Court of Frost and Starlight, and this is by Sarah J. Maas. And this one is like a really short little, I guess like a novella, where we're following multiple characters in the aftermath of the previous books, and they are just kind of preparing for winter solstice, and then we get to see them celebrate winter solstice. And I ended up giving this one 4 stars. I liked this. I thought I really enjoyed the holiday feel. Winter in Valaris I thought was really cozy and fun. I enjoyed that. I liked seeing their holiday traditions, and I loved we also got more POVs in this one, which I really did like. I felt like I got to see more of our side characters and their backgrounds and more about their motivations and why they do the things they do. And I really liked these side characters even more after having read this one. I already really liked most of them, but I appreciate them even more now, I feel. I also liked that there was struggle after everything that happened in the previous book. Like, we didn't just brush over it and move on. We see them struggling and rebuilding, and I liked that. I liked being able to see them dealing with everything that happened. But yeah, I sped through this. It was a fun, easy read. It's not like action-packed and super exciting like the other books are, but I still felt like it was worth it. I like just getting to see them enjoy their life and be happy for a little bit. And I definitely feel like this is a good transition book. I can see it setting up the next book, kind of setting up for the next couple. And yeah, I had a fun time with this one. Next up is A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross, and this is the first book in the Elements of Cadence duology. And in this one, we are following Jack Tamerlane, who is summoned back to his home on the Isle of Cadence from the mainland where he was going to university for music. And when he gets there, he finds out he was summoned because have been some young girls disappearing. And the Lord of Tamerlane's daughter, Adara, who also happens to be Jack's former rival, thinks that Jack can help solve these disappearances by using his music to get the spirits to manifest, and then they can find the girls. And we end up getting like 5 point of views, I think, in this one, and this one is written in third person. But the writing is beautiful. I thought the world was enchanting. The Isle feels alive and like its own character. I loved the mischievous elemental fae and how they can control the Isle. Like the wind spreads gossip throughout to everyone living on the Isle, and they can move mountains, rivers, things like that. And they also just kind of have a hand in everything that happens. Like we get to see little glimpses of how they set up circumstances for our characters, and I really thought that was fun. The lore and the legends I really loved. I thought they were really well done. The magic system I really liked as well. They wield magic through their craft, through making clothes, making weapons, making music, things like that, and I really liked that idea. I really did end up loving both couples in this. We had 2 couples, but my favorite was actually the side couple, Torin and Sidra. They were a little bit older and more mature, and I really enjoyed their storyline. There were a couple of twists that got me and some that were more predictable, but I did find all of them enjoyable to read about regardless. The only thing I would say that I didn't love was the POV changes were like mid-chapter instead of chapter to chapter, and it wouldn't have been a big deal if it was said like right at the beginning of the paragraph somewhere who we were following, but a lot of the time it wasn't. It was said later on, and it just got kind of confusing sometimes. For the most part it was fine, but regardless, this was 5 stars, a new favorite duology of mine. I absolutely loved this, and I am very glad that I read it. Next up, I have the second book in the Elements of Cadence duology, which is A Fire Endless. And in this one, we're just continuing on the story with a mostly new conflict, because the first one is pretty well resolved in the first book. And this one was 5 stars as well. Like I said, this is a new favorite duology. And in this one, the action definitely picks up and things felt more intense and nerve-wracking. We had more combat type scenarios, things like that. This one gave me also more of an appreciation for all 4 of our characters. Like I said, Torin and Sidra were my favorites, but Jack and Adara also really ended up growing on me in this book, in the second book. This one just felt more emotional than the first book. I felt more invested and like I really cared about our characters and what was going to happen to them. We also got more family moments in this one. This was really one big family. Like Jack and Adara and Torin are cousins, and yeah, we just have like this big family aspect. We have Jack's family, who he's making connections with again after being back on the Isle, and I really just love seeing these family moments all together. And we also get to learn more about the other side of the Isle in this one, and how things are different and how they do things over there, how the Fae act differently over there, and how magic works differently over there. And I just liked getting to see both sides of the Isle, as well as getting to see more of the fairy realm and how that works. I just liked getting to see the Isle as a whole and how everything really worked. And yeah, like I said, 5 stars, a new favorite. Really glad I read this in September. Okay, so lastly, I have One Dark Window, which is the first book in the Shepherd's King duology by Rachel Gillig. And in this one, we're following Elspeth Spindle, who lives in a cursed kingdom. And the curse is this mist that spreads out throughout the town over time, and it carries a magical infection. And anyone who gets this infection ends up with magical abilities. And the king has taught everyone that this magic is to be feared. These people aren't safe to have around. So the king's destriers gather up anyone who has had the infection and take them to the dungeons and get rid of them. And Elspeth had this infection as a child, but no one but her family knows because she was hidden out at her aunt and uncle's. And even they think that she never actually got powers somehow, but she did. She has a nightmare living in her head, and she gets her powers from him. And then we also have Providence cards, which are kind of like tarot cards, and can give anyone magic, but they are super rare and valuable, so people try to steal them for money. And when she is walking home one night, she is stopped by a masked highwayman who she thinks is just looking to steal cards for money, but she finds out he is actually the king's nephew and the captain of the Destriers, and he is hoping to gather all 12 of these Providence cards because gathering all 12 of them will cure the kingdom of the curse. And this one, I really loved the gothic feel. I think it was perfect for the end of September. It was the beginning of fall. It really got me in the fall mood. The world was good, but it wasn't like super detailed or well explained. It wasn't the City of Blunder itself wasn't super exciting. It wasn't the most detailed world ever, but I did really love this magic system. The Providence cards, I really haven't read anything like that before, and they actually have consequences as well. If you use one for too long, then there is a negative effect. Same with the infection. Anyone who gets it also has a negative effect. And I really like seeing that also having consequences to this magic, not just like being drained or something like that. There's different consequences for each card. And I really thought that was interesting. I really liked the Nightmare and getting to learn more about him. I thought he was a really interesting character. He like talks in riddles. I liked him. I thought he was fun. I also liked Raven, but Elspeth is not my favorite. She's a little whiny, and she took so long to put together these obvious twists that were right in front of her. So she was a little frustrating. I didn't dislike her, but she wasn't like a favorite main character or anything. The side characters were fun, but they didn't like stand out. They weren't favorites. The romance was also good, but didn't stand out. It wasn't a favorite. The last bit picked up and got me really excited for the second book, but I wouldn't necessarily say it improved my enjoyment of the first book. It really just got me excited for the second book. So that's why I decided to give this one 4 stars overall. I really liked it, but I wouldn't say it was like 5 stars a favorite. But I am glad that I read it. I think it was a great fall read. But yeah, that is the last book on my list. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please go ahead and give me a like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And I hope to see you all in the next one.